Welcome to a brand new section, and this is very exciting because we're about to take the first steps in building out your own profitable Shopify dropshipping store. And I'm sure you remember at the end of Essential number 2, I left you looking at this page where I said I would soon come back to give you a high-level overview of Shopify. And so that's exactly what I'm going to be doing in this lecture. And in fact, my goal here is that by the end of this lecture, you will at least begin to appreciate how powerful Shopify is, and most importantly, that it is all point and click and you really don't need any technical skills. And I can definitely say that in my over 25 years of experience in e-commerce, that this is undoubtedly the best software to build a profitable and exciting business. And therefore, it really is totally understandable why Shopify is the market leader. Okay, so let's get going. And the first thing we want to do in order to give us the best possible start when building our store is to change what we call the theme. Now, I'll be going into themes in more detail later on in the course, but just know at the moment that the theme simply controls the look and feel of your store. And if you come over here and click on Online Store, you'll see that we're immediately taken to the themes page, and that the current theme is the Dawn theme. And the Dawn theme is okay, but in my opinion, it's a bit basic. It lacks the professionalism that we need to build a fabulous store. And so with that in mind, what I'd like you to do is to scroll down until you see this section here, Popular Free Themes. And amongst these free themes, you're going to see one called Horizon, where I'd like you to click on the Add button. And then after a few seconds, you'll see that the Horizon theme has been added to the theme library. And then all we need to do to make use of this really fantastic theme that's going to allow us to immediately start creating an amazing looking store is to come over here and click on the Publish button. I'll then click on Publish once again. And now when I scroll up to the top, you can now see that the current theme is Horizon. And just to say, if it doesn't look like the image has been updated, or if it still looks a bit like the Dawn theme, don't worry. As long as it says Horizon here, you are good to go. So clearly, we're already off to a great start. But now I want to show you something pretty cool. Because if you come over and put your mouse over where it says Online Store, and then move it over to where you see this little eye, you can see that it says View Online Store. And so when you click on this little eye, it opens up, believe it or not, your very own Shopify store. And while, of course, at this stage, it doesn't look like much, I mean, of course, we're only at the beginning, it really is absolutely incredible the amount of super powerful functionality that is already built into your store for free. But just before we have a look at that in a bit more detail, if your store has a different image, or it doesn't say My Store right in the middle of the screen, please don't worry. Because as long as you set up the Horizon theme in the way that I just showed you, you are good to go. And on that note, let me take you through some of those key features. And to do that, if I bring my mouse up to the top of the screen, you can see that it highlights the menu. And at the moment, I'm on the home page. But if I click on Catalog, it immediately gives me a page where I'll be able to showcase all of my products. Products, of course, that our customers are going to be buying. And should any of our future visitors or customers want to get in contact with me, all they'd need to do is to come up here and click on Contact. And now, straight away, they're presented with this built-in form where they can send me a message without me having to do anything. And then if we just go back to the home page and I draw your attention to the right-hand side, you can see that we have 3 small icons, the first of which is a magnifying glass. And if I click on this, it brings up a search function where my customers can look for anything that might be in my store. Then next to that, we have this little head and shoulders icon. And if I click on that, you can see that it says account and it's prompting me to log in. And what this demonstrates is that my customers can create their own accounts where they can manage and track their orders, much like you'd see on any professional looking e-commerce store. And then finally, and possibly most importantly, the last icon is the shopping cart. And when I click onto this, of course, at the moment, there's no products and my cart is empty. But what's really important to understand is that the cart and also the checkout are already built into your Shopify store, meaning that any customers from anywhere in the world can already buy from you without you, once again, having to do anything at all. It really is absolutely incredible how, with just the click of a mouse and completely for free, that you already have all of the key functionality that you need to build a successful business. Now, of course, at the moment, the store looks incredibly basic, but as the course progresses, you're going to see how we're going to build this out to really create something very special. Okay, so now let's return to the previous page, because it's at this point that I want to make an important distinction. And that is, the page that you're looking at right now is what I refer to as the admin system. And the admin system contains everything that you need to build and develop your business. And in fact, only you as the store owner have access to this part of Shopify. But of course, over on the site itself, that's going to be available to a global audience that's going to buy your products. And just to say, if I go back once again to the admin system, it's quite possible that you're looking at this right now and thinking, my goodness, there seems to be an awful lot of functionality here. And maybe you're feeling a little bit nervous or perhaps a bit overwhelmed. But if you are, please don't worry. You're going to see, as we go through this course, I'm going to show you step by step how to build out this business. I'm going to show you how to build a fantastic store, stock it with high profit, high in demand products, and then drive a continuous stream of highly targeted traffic for free. And because I understand your time is precious, I'm going to be doing all of that in the most efficient manner that I can so that you can build out your business in the most effective way. And so on that note, let's get into this admin system in a bit more detail. So first of all, you can see that we're on the home page. And the home page is kind of a dashboard. It's going to give you a summary of your business at any point in time. And at the moment, you can see that it's showing the setup guide. But please don't worry about that, because I'm going to be taking you through every step that you need to know. And then below the homepage item, we have the 3 items which are key to any business in the world. And those are the orders, the products, and the customers. Because every single business has to have products that they are selling. And when those products are sold, they become an order. And once that order is complete, the person who bought it will become your customer. And so in the product section, we're going to be adding all kinds of fantastic products. And then when those products are bought, it's going to create an order. So we'll be going over to the orders section to actually fulfill those orders and send them to our customers. And in this section, you're going to see that this is going to build up over time as you develop an increasingly loyal customer base, people who are going to come back time and time again to buy your products. And then for the remaining menu items in this section, marketing, discounts, content, markets, finance, and analytics. Just know at this early stage, and because I don't want to overwhelm you, that these items represent the essential components for building any successful dropshipping business. And we will, of course, be revisiting each of these at the appropriate time as we progress. Okay, so now let's jump down to the next section, which as you can see is called Sales Channels. Now, a sales channel is simply a point of contact where your customer can buy your products. So, for example, in the real world, a shop, a store, is a sales channel. But on this course, and really all you need to build out a great business is your website, your online store, which, as you can see, is listed here by default. And so it's in this section that we'll be building your store, your website, and making it look absolutely fantastic. And then below that, we have apps. And this really is amazing because, believe it or not, Shopify has its very own app store, allowing you to download all kinds of amazing apps to enormously increase the functionality of your business. And of course, amongst the hundreds, possibly thousands of apps that are available, I'm going to be showing you exactly the apps that you need to develop your business. And then finally, right down in the bottom left-hand corner here, you can see the settings. And it's here where you'll be able to control some of the finer points of your business and your website. And that actually completes this high-level overview of Shopify. And so if you just cast your mind back to the beginning of this lecture, I said my intention was to give you an appreciation of how powerful Shopify is and that it's all point and click and that you really don't need any technical skills. And so now, as we approach the end of this lecture, I hope that you can at least begin to appreciate those key points. And of course, we're going to be going into more detail as the course progresses. But right now, if you take a step back, it's pretty amazing to think that for free, you have an incredibly powerful admin system. and the beginnings of your Shopify store without you doing anything at all. And then when you combine that with all of the knowledge that I'm about to share with you in the coming lectures and my free mentorship program, you really do have an incredible set of tools to create a very successful business. Welcome back, and in this lecture I want to go into a bit more detail about the very first page of your website. And that page is going to be the contact page, which of course, if I click on the link in the menu, already exists on the site. But where can we find it in the admin system? And most importantly, how does it actually work? Because clearly we want our customers to be able to contact us. And so to answer that, I'm going to go back to the admin system and then come down to the online store and click on it, which, as you can see, then opens up this sub-menu, and one of those items is Pages. And if I click on Pages, it's here that I can see all of the pages that I've created for my site. And of course, at the moment, we only have one, the Contact page. So if I come over here and actually click on this page, it brings me to the template for the page itself. Now, in a moment, I'm going to make some small modifications to this page, some small improvements, if you like. But before I do that, I just want to take you through the layout of this template, because once you understand this, you can go ahead and very easily create any page for your website. So first of all, of course, we have the title, and at the moment, that is Contact. Below that, we have the content, which is going to be the text of our page, which at the moment is blank. And then at the bottom, you can see the search engine listing. And this is a key point, because what it's showing you there is how this page is actually going to look in the search engine rankings. And then in the top right hand corner, you can see we have visibility, where there are two options, visible or hidden. Now by default, visible is selected, and that means that this page is going to be visible on our website. So you might be thinking, well, why would we want to hide it? And the reason for that is because maybe we're still working on it. We're not yet ready to publish it on our site. We're not yet ready to make it visible. And then finally to the template. And this is a clever part, because if I open this up, you can see that there are in fact two options, default page and contact. And of course, contact is already selected. And by selecting that, it's immediately giving us, without us doing anything at all, this contact form that we've already seen on our site. And that is a very powerful feature. Now, having said that, and because you're not always going to want a contact form on your pages, in 99% of cases, you will be selecting default page. But of course, at the moment, I want that form, so I'm going to leave it selected as contact. Okay, so that's the page template, and it's going to be exactly the same, as I said, for every single page that you create on your site. And so now, let's have a look at making some modifications. And I'm going to start by changing the title, because I always think contact is a little bit abrupt. I'm simply going to change it to Contact Us. And then for the content, what I'd like to include here is a friendly introductory paragraph. And for this, and in the interest of time, I've already prepared some text. And that text is as follows. Hi, thank you so much for dropping by my store. My name is Tim. I have put together a fantastic selection of products that I'm really passionate about. I really hope you enjoy browsing my store. Should you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me on the form below. Now, while of course that appears just to be some simple text, one of the key points there is that I introduce my name. And the reason why that's important is because it helps build trust. And you're going to see that I'm going to talk about this a lot through the course, because building trust is a key component when it comes to building a successful business. And so if you want to use the text that I'm showing there, by all means go ahead. But of course, don't forget to substitute your own name. Okay, before I go any further, what I'm now going to do is save my hard work. So I'll come up here and click on Save, and then come down to the search engine listing, which, as you can see at the moment, doesn't look particularly great, but we can quickly make some great improvements. And we can do that by clicking on this little pencil over here. It's going to open up this form, which if I scroll down, you can see includes a page title, a meta description, and also a URL handle. Now we'll come back to that last one, the URL handle, much later on in the course. But at the moment, I want to focus on the page title and the meta description, because it's that actually shows up in the rankings. And on that note, I'm pretty happy with the page title, but of course the meta description is blank. But we can easily solve that, because if I come up to the text that I just wrote and simply copy this paragraph and then paste it into the meta description, You can see that the preview has now been updated, and that is a big improvement in getting our very first customers to our store for free from the search engines. Okay, so now let's save once again and then go back to the contact page on our site and refresh it, where, as you can see, the title has been updated and of course the introductory text has now been included. And so now the last part is to answer the question, what happens when somebody fills in this form? Where does this information go? And to answer that, let me actually fill this in and then we'll go ahead and click on submit at the bottom. Okay, so here's what I wrote. It's coming from bob@testing.com. His telephone number is 12345678, and he simply wrote, "Hi, I love your products." And then he clicked on submit, where you can then see it says, "Thank you for contacting us. We will respond as soon as possible." So where did that information go? Well, it actually got sent to the email address that I first used when I signed up for Shopify. And just to remind you what that is, and also to show you a new section in the admin, if I go back to the admin itself and then come down to the settings in the bottom left-hand corner, in the very first section, which you can see is called General, we have Store Details. And in the Store Details, there is my email address, tim.dropshippingexpert@gmail.com. And when I go over to my email account itself, here is the message, including the name, the email, the phone, and of course the message itself. And so at this point, I really hope that you're following along with me in building your own store, because if you are, then not only have you got your first page, but you've also taken your very first steps to building your business. And perhaps if you haven't yet started your free trial, you might want to go back to Lecture 3, click on the link and come with me on this exciting journey. Okay, so now that you've got your first page organized, in this lecture I'm going to show you how to start building a menu so that your customers can easily find everything within your store. And we're going to begin by actually modifying the existing menu. So here's what we're going to do. First of all, catalog is a little bit of a boring name for our list of products. So I'm going to change this into our fabulous products. And then next to that, rather than having contact, I'm going to put customer service, and then include the existing Contact Us page as a sub-menu item. And actually, once I've shown you how to do those two things, you really will understand almost everything that you need to know about building menus. Okay, let me show you how it's done. So we'll go back to admin, and this time click on content, which, as you can see in the menu below, has menus listed. So click on menus, and it's here that you see that by default we have 3 menus: the main menu, the footer menu, and the customer account menu. Now in this lecture, I'm going to focus on the main menu. And you can see that the menu items are home, catalog, and contact, which of course corresponds with exactly what we have at the moment. So in order to make those changes, the first thing we'll do is actually click on main menu, which then brings up this editor where you can see the menu items listed below. And so the first thing I said I wanted to do was to change the name catalog into our fabulous products. So as you can see, as I hover over catalog, it brings up 2 icons over on the right hand side. First of all, I have this little pencil, and then I also have the trash can. Now clicking on the trash can clearly would delete this menu item, but to alter it, to edit it, I simply need to click on this little pencil, remove the existing name altogether, and replace it with our fabulous products. And then having done that, I simply need to click on this little tick on the right hand side, where you can now see that the name has been updated. So next up, I actually want to create a new menu item, which, as I said, was going to be called a customer service. And to create that new item, I simply need to come down here and click on add menu item, where I need to provide a label and also a link. So for the label, of course, that's going to be called customer service, and then I need to link it to a particular page. Now at the moment we only have 1 page, so I'm going to link it to that. And so to make that happen, I'll come in here, click into this box, where as you can see it brings up a whole load of possibilities, but one of those is pages. And if I click on pages, here is the Contact Us page that we modified in the last lecture. And when I select this and now click on the little tick, you can now see that it's created an additional menu item, customer service. So now we have all the menu items we need. And so now all we need to do is organize them in the way that I want. And this, as you're going to see, as ever with Shopify, is all point and click, and you don't need any technical skills. So we'll begin by moving this customer service item because I want it just after our fabulous products. And in order to do that, if I come over here where you see these little dots and hover over it, I can now actually pick this up and then move it and drop it just below our fabulous products. And then, as I'm sure you remember, I said I wanted the contact page to be a sub-menu item of the customer service item. And in order to do that, I just need to pick it up once again and just slightly indent it below the customer service. And as you can see, it's now become a sub-menu item of customer service. Exactly what I want. And then just as a final step, I'm going to change contact into contact us. So to do that, I'll edit it and simply add us to the end and click on the little tick. And now my menu is organized in exactly the way that I want. But let's actually go ahead and make sure that it looks great on the site itself. So I'll start by saving this and then going back to my store and refreshing. And as I do, keep an eye on the menu. Because you can now see that catalog has been replaced by our fabulous products. And next to that, we have customer service. And when I hover over customer service, it shows me the Contact Us page as a sub-menu item. Everything is in place exactly as I wanted. Now, as we go through the course, we're actually going to be developing this menu more and more. But at the moment, just know that you now have all the knowledge that you need to build any menu in Shopify. It really is that simple. And with that in mind, I would really encourage you to make the changes that I just made. Change catalog into our fabulous products, and then make your existing Contact Us page a sub-menu item of your new customer service menu item. I've no doubt you're going to see how fun and easy it is to do, and of course at the same time it's yet another small step in building out your very exciting future.